Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Jordan with Studio GBK, and today I'm going to show you how to split a live edge slab perfectly in half using a skill saw. And I'd just like to thank everyone for all the positive feedback on my videos from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok to right here on YouTube. All the encouragement is truly appreciated. And I'm actually doing this video because people told me that they've never seen this technique. And I don't want people to be confused about how I did this and go hurting themselves. So I decided to go into detail about it. And to the people saying, oh, watch out, you're going to lose a finger, I think you should pick up, baking or knitting or crocheting or something that doesn't involve risk. So the first step is obviously to remove all the bark from the slab. This is one of my favorite parts because it's so satisfying. And once I've removed all that bark on both sides, I then cut the slab down to a length that I can work with. This slab is over 10 feet long, so that's just super awkward to be moving around. So I'm basically measuring out how long I want this to be and cutting it accordingly. Once that's finished, it's time to modify my table. I built this table myself last year, and as you can see, the top of it hangs over the 2x4s that are supporting it. So the first thing I do is remove that overhang with a jigsaw, and you'll see why here in a second. My jigsaw didn't cut it perfectly flat, so I just came back with my sander and made that as flat as possible because I'm going to want my slab to sit as flat as it possibly can. After that, I'm going to take the slab that I'm splitting and clamp it to the side of this table, and I recommend using the strongest clamps that you can. The stronger the clamp, the more it will ensure that your slab doesn't slip on you or move during the cutting process. And for those of you asking, why is this guy wearing flip-flops in a wood shop in the winter? It's because I went to jujitsu training that morning, and I usually go straight from jujitsu to my wood shop, and I didn't change my footwear. So once I have this slab clamped to the side of the table, I need to find the center of it. So I just come through with my tape measure and divide the total thickness of the slab in half. This one was about 1 5/8 inches thick, so the center line was right there at 13/16. It took me a while to do the math on that one, but I did not use a calculator. Then I made a bunch of marks with my pencil right there on center, and I came back and stuck some flat blades into the slab standing straight up. And I did this that I could put my homemade track for the skill saw exactly where those blades are and know that it's perfectly centered on my slab all the way through. I then remove the blades and take a few extra measurements just to ensure that the track isn't going crooked across the slab. So basically, my tape measure should read the same number on both ends of the slab and in the middle, and I'm just measuring off the side of the slab that's facing me. Once I get that exactly where I want it, I screw it into place and make sure that it doesn't move on me once I start cutting. Then I just come through with the small skill saw and make a few shallow passes through the slab. I usually start off at 1/4 inch and go deeper. Don't worry about going too deep yet, just worry about going straight and going down at a 90-degree angle as much as you can, and then go deeper and deeper until you're all the way in there. Let's keep our minds out of the gutter, all right? The track definitely helps with going straight, but it's not absolutely necessary. It's also okay to use a T-square like I did with this charcuterie board and clamp the T-square exactly where you want it with the blade going down the center of the slab again, and you can do it this way as well. It really just depends on your skill level and how comfortable you are with a skill saw. Once I've passed through one side with the skill saw, I'm going to spin my slab and cut the other side. You want to make sure to keep the same side of the slab facing you as you spin the slab. In other words, don't flip it over. You want to spin it perfectly clockwise or counterclockwise with the same side facing you. This ensures that your cuts will line up without being all messed up and in two different places. And once I flip it, I do the same thing again and run through it several times with a small skill saw. Then I unscrew the track and remove that off the table. And as you can see, the cuts on the top and bottom are almost perfectly aligned, and we have a nice straight cut down the center of the slab. After that, it's time to go in with a bigger skill saw, and this is just going to give us a deeper cut than what we had before and get us closer to the center of the slab. And I basically just come in with the bigger skill saw, and I'm going to follow that line that I pre-cut with the small one. If you want to get really perfect with it, you can clamp a straight edge to follow. But on this one, I just freehanded it and did, one or two passes, turned it around, and then passed through it again on the other side, going as deep as I possibly can. And once I've gone as deep as possible with the big skill saw, it's time to connect the sides. Now, when you have something smaller, like say a cutting board, you can just clamp it to the side of the table again and run straight through with the skill saw to connect the cuts that you have on both sides, and then finish off with a sawzall, going as straight as you possibly can. I usually try to stick a pry bar or something in the top to kind of separate the two halves and stop them from closing in on the blade. And you just run the sawzall all the way through until you're done. Now, when you're doing this with a taller slab, it's definitely harder to connect it with a skill saw because you can't use the table for support as much. And in that case, I just come in with the sawzall, keeping it as straight as I possibly can once again, and slowly connect both sides. Then once you're in there and the blade runs all the way from one side to the other, I just slowly move down the remaining wood in the middle, and I do that until it's all gone and I have the two halves that I'm going for. I'll be turning the bigger slab into another live edge mirror for someone who is very special to me. She'll be getting it for free, so stay tuned for that. That's it for today's video, guys, and I hope that I clarified any questions that you may have. If there's anything I missed or if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. And if you like this video or learned anything from it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for me. I hope everyone's year is off to a great start, and I will see you on the next one.